To the Eastern Cape, where the government there is also marking this reconciliation day. The event is being held in Komani. It's where we find our reporter Lubabalo Dada, who joins us now live. And what message, Lubabalo, is the provincial government there hoping will, I suppose, be sent out to South Africans?
Well, the provincial government is convening a social dialogue as part of commemorating this day, reflecting on the history of the province, as well as focusing on the massacres that have occurred in the past years. The families of the victims, as well as the survivors, will form part of this discussion. But to talk to us more on this, I am joined by the acting premier, Mr. Zolile Williams, to talk about the importance of having this day and this approach. Talk to us about that. Why did you choose this approach?
Thank you very much. The Day of Reconciliation is quite significant for the people of our country on the basis that we were paralyzed by apartheid. One part of our community was oppressed by another part. And due to the wisdom of our forefathers, since 1994, a decision was taken that this community need to be reconciled, where we reflect on the past, but not forgetting what happened, but move forward as a community towards a better future for all, where there's equity and equality, and a country where there's no poverty. But the past is still impacting negatively on those who were oppressed. And it is our moral responsibility as a society not to deny ourselves the opportunity to upgrade the lives of those who are oppressed. So today we have resolved as the provincial government that instead of the premier coming here to address a mass rally, we need a process that is going to be interactive, where the community will be involved and reflect, especially those that were affected by various massacres. You would know that here we had a Bellwood massacre in the area. We had the KwaNobuhle massacre in the Eastern Cape. We have the Alwal North, many massacres, and those communities are here today to celebrate this day. And that is why the president has reopened the TRC to say what are the issues that were to be dealt with, especially in trying to address and redress the challenges of those communities that were affected by apartheid, whose family members were killed by apartheid forces. Now, the president, with his foresight, reopened that we must re-look into those issues and also look at how. That's why even the Craddock 4, that inquest has been reopened. So the government is trying to say, how do we redress those people that were affected by apartheid? So this day is a day of reflection, and we are going to engage on a social dialogue. Many of the experts about heritage will be participating in this, and our communities themselves. But also we've got legacy projects. Deaf communities who are disabled have been trained to empower them to understand how to build their lives by themselves. We're also going to be giving over machinery to them and all the legacy projects that will aim to empower their lives. So this day is not only about reflection, but it's say, how do we move forward? But we need to really talk to those who want to believe that the policies that are being developed to affirm those who were oppressed by apartheid is reverse racism. I would completely disagree with that, because all of us have a responsibility to look at how the black community is affirmed and their lives are improved, because it's only the black community in South Africa that still resides in shacks, in informal settlements where not all services are available. But it requires everyone, as Tata Nelson Mandela said, that this country has both good men and women, but if they integrate efforts, we can see a change in our lives, instead of seeing the development of those who were prevented from it by the past as a reverse of the democratic process. I think we need to dispel those myths.
During those massacres, some people lost breadwinners, and the survivors, some of them are still suffering emotional trauma. So what kind of support systems are there to actually help those people that have suffered as a result of those massacres?
If you look at, as part of that redress, is to ensure that those people, some of whom were left outside the borders of this country, the government has deliberately entered into a program of reburying them back to the country, because the wounds are still opened once your next of kin is still lying outside the borders of South Africa. So what we have done is to bring back those communities here. Secondly, opening the inquest to understand, I think the number of inquests that are being reopened to understand how these people died, because some of them we were misled to say some committed suicide, and families continue to grieve because they know that their member would not have committed suicide. That's why we are reopening those cases to follow up so that families get to closure of those incidents that were very bad, if you would reflect back on what apartheid has done to black people in this country. And the third issue is that the government is deliberately looking at how we can ensure that through all these inquests, reparations for those affected, the kids and whatever, are being looked into as to how we can really improve the lives of those people, because without such reparations, the kids who lost their mothers, their fathers and everything, their lives remain affected and impacted negatively. So when they look at apartheid, they look at it with anger. It does not help reconciliation. Reconciliation can only work if people feel that our problems and challenges are being redressed.
So this is not just a once-off gathering. So the aim here, if I'm getting you correctly, is to make sure that there is healing and reconciliation. And I would imagine that there will be further engagements on this matter.
Definitely. If you look at this area, those communities that are affected, they are interacting with us, with government, consistently, so that we can assist them and help them towards the healing process. And this is not going to be resolved by one-day event. It will be resolved by psychosocial support. It will be resolved by affirming them in terms of housing, development. All the benefits that are required should be extended to some of those people that are affected, so that their lives are better.
Thank you very much, Acting Premier Mr. Zolile Williams, saying that this is not just going to be an event of this day only. There will be further engagements in terms of understanding the needs of those who have survived and also the families of those who have lost their family members.